Namaskar. In our last episode, we spoke about the great sage of modern times, Sri Ramana Maharshi, who was born 150 years ago. Today, we are going to look at the essence of his teachings, which can lead us to freedom or mukti. But before we proceed further, let me briefly introduce him once again. Sri Ramana Maharshi was a sage who lived in South India in the early 20th century. He was born as Ramon and had an intense longing to understand the truth of his own existence. At the age of 16, he experienced a profound transformation and became spontaneously enlightened. From that point onwards, he began sharing his realizations with seekers from all over the world, most of them Westerners. His teachings were primarily given in silence. Despite his young age, he was highly revered by many as a great master. Ramana Maharshi passed away in 1950 at the age of 50. Let us now delve into his core teaching. It's the essence of his message, which has the potential to liberate us from suffering. So let's get started. 1. Who am I? Ramana Maharshi's teaching is simple yet profound. His primary teaching revolves around the question, who am I? This may seem like a simple philosophical query, but it is much more than that. It is a direct pointer aimed at turning our attention inward, at transcending the limitations of our thinking, and at realizing our true nature. The question, who am I, becomes a tool for self-discovery. It means to peel back the layers of our false identifications and reveal the eternal truth that lies beneath. But it is a call to action, an invitation to embark on a journey of self-inquiry and realize our oneness with the divine. 2. The nature of the mind. Before delving deeper into the practice of self-inquiry, it is essential to grasp the nature of the mind. According to Ramana Maharshi, the mind is the root of all our thoughts, emotions, and the sense of a separate self, also known as the ego. He described the mind as a bundle of thoughts. These thoughts constantly change, appearing and disappearing like waves in the ocean. Our mind identifies strongly with these thoughts and takes them as evidence of its own existence. But these thoughts are not who we truly are. They are just mental formations that arise and pass away. It is crucial to recognize that we are not the mind, but the awareness that observes the mind. 3. Self-inquiry, Atma Vichara. Now let's learn how to perform the inquiry. When a thought arises, instead of following it, we ask, to whom does this thought come? The answer will always be I. Then we ask, who is this I? We continue to inquire, who am I? Until we realize that the I thought is simply an identification with the body, the intellect, or other mental states. This process is called Atma Vichara, or self-inquiry. Through this practice, we begin to see that the sense of I is just a mental construct, and we are not actually separate individuals. We are interconnected with everything around us. Ramana Maharshi emphasized that self-inquiry should be done while fully engaged in daily activities. It is not a ritualistic practice, but an ongoing process of self-discovery. One can do it while walking, sitting, or doing household chores. It is a continuous reminder to turn our attention inward. 4. The illusion of the I thought is the root of the ego, and it creates the illusion of a separate individual. As long as we identify with the I thought, we remain bound by the limitations of our ego and the suffering that comes with it. The ego constantly seeks pleasure and tries to avoid pain. It clings to our relationships, possessions, and status, fearing that letting go will bring suffering. However, it is this very clinging that causes our suffering. True freedom, according to Ramana Maharshi, is realized when we see through the illusion of the ego and realize our true nature. 5. Silence and stillness.
Silence and stillness
are powerful tools in the spiritual path. Ramana Maharshi often spoke through his silences, sharing profound truths without saying a word. He demonstrated that true teaching goes beyond words, and that our inner silence is a source of wisdom. In fact, he said that if someone realizes the truth by listening to his verbal teachings, it is the sound that does the work, not he. True inner stillness is the natural state of the self, which can be reached by quieting the mind and realizing one's true nature. 6. The heart center. The location of the self is a common question in spirituality. Ramana Maharshi taught that the true self is not in the brain, but in the spiritual heart center. This heart center is located on the right side of the chest and is the seat of consciousness. He emphasized that when we seek wisdom, we should look within ourselves rather than solely relying on external sources. By looking inwards, we can connect with our true selves and access the knowledge that resides within us. Number 7. The path of surrender. Ramana Maharshi recognized that the path of self-inquiry may not be easy for everyone. Therefore, he offered an alternative path for those who find it challenging to engage in self-inquiry. For such individuals, he recommended the path of bhakti, or surrender. Surrender involves completely giving oneself up to a higher power or the self. It is a state of total dependence and trust in the divine. Through surrender, one can release the need for control and allow the self to unfold naturally. Ramana Maharshi taught that both paths, self-inquiry and surrender, lead to the same goal. The method does not matter as long as it leads to the realization of the self. Number 8. What happens after self-realization? What happens after self-realization is a common question that arises from a lack of understanding about the true nature of enlightenment. Many people believe that enlightenment is a state of being free from the cycle of birth and death, but this is not entirely accurate. After self-realization, we realize that we have never been separate from the divine, and there is nothing to be gained or achieved. Enlightenment is not about acquiring something new, but about realizing what has always been. Our true nature remains unchanged. Life continues, but without the ego. We continue to live in the world, but we are no longer identified with the changing circumstances of life. Ramana Maharshi taught that after self-realization, we can continue to live our lives as before, but with greater awareness and detachment. Now, some of you might wonder if it is so simple, then why don't most people live their lives this way? Well, the simplicity of the teaching is often contrasted by the complexity of its practice. Realizing our true nature requires going beyond the limitations of the mind and ego. It involves letting go of our attachment and aversion to the world and embracing everything that life offers. Now, many of you may be wondering how to integrate these teachings into our daily lives. Let us address that. Number 10. How to apply the teachings in daily life.
Applying the teachings of Ramana Maharshi in our daily lives requires consistent effort and dedication. Here are some practical ways to start integrating his teachings into our daily routines. Firstly, we can make a conscious effort to observe our thoughts without judgment and realize that we are not the thoughts themselves. Secondly, we can cultivate a sense of presence by anchoring ourselves to the present moment. Instead of dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, we can focus on the here and now. Thirdly, we can practice self-surrender by letting go of our ego and trusting in a higher power or the self. We can start by surrendering the outcomes of our actions to a higher purpose. And lastly, we can incorporate the question, "Who am I?" into our daily lives as a reminder to turn our attention inward. By asking this question regularly, we can gradually peel away the layers of our false identifications and come closer to our true selves. As we conclude this session, let us reflect on the timeless wisdom shared by Sri Ramana Maharshi. His teachings continue to resonate with seekers from all walks of life. By embracing the path of self-inquiry or surrender, we can move closer to realizing our true nature. Ramana Maharshi's legacy lives on, inspiring countless individuals to embark on their own spiritual journeys and discover the depths of their being. If you found this session insightful, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with others who may also benefit from this knowledge. Your support means a lot to us. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of wisdom. Namaskar.